Hey everyone, it's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel, and tomorrow is the Las Vegas release, so I'm doing my Las Vegas collection prediction and my strategy for how to mint and what I like to do when these cities are released. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll also give some lazy node updates, show how those are doing in this video. Now, of course, we love the likes, shares, comments. Keep those coming. And I have my real estate channel, Mark Ferguson, Invest for More as well. We're buying a couple properties next week, a pretty interesting industrial property and a triplex. So we'll have videos of those up pretty soon. So make sure you go over there and subscribe too if you have not done that yet. All right, so we are in Las Vegas right now. And there's quite a few things I want to talk about. So I'll talk about some of my collection predictions. Although I don't know if my collection predictions are as important as others make them out to be. Meaning, I don't put all my eggs in one basket hoping to get collections. I have a different strategy I use to make money on the releases. And then I'll also talk about how I did in the stress test release. I had that video where I show you exactly how I mint properties and go through it in real time. I'll have the same video tomorrow where I record everything I'm doing, the release, all of that. Those are always fun and stressful sometimes. All right. And let's check out the lazy nodes first. And the Thrifty Trader. We'll talk about the Thrifty Trader a little bit too. In fact, let's do that first. Here's the Thrifty Trader leaderboard. And I am at 57.19%, which I don't think is very good. But I've been selling a lot of properties. I have decent volume. I have decent diversity. Just my relative buy and relative profit is really low for some reason. So I'm not sure if I'm buying. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm making money, but maybe just my profit margins aren't huge enough. So who knows? But I wanted to see exactly where I am. I don't think I'm in the top 200 here. And all the final scores kind of went down. There were some people in the high 90s. And then when I checked, I don't know if it's last night or this morning, things have dropped down quite a bit. So we're going to keep going. Oh, not quite there. So I'm close to the top 62%, and I was at 59. I'm close, but not quite there. So I wonder what spot I'm at. I'm still a ways away. I'm in the 250s somewhere here. I thought it was 59, right? I don't know. I thought it was 59.15. That would make me right here somewhere, but I don't see me. That's okay. Oh no, here I'm 57.1 here. I thought it was, oh well. Again, maybe that hasn't been updated. Who knows? But I need to do some more work selling properties apparently if I want to get in that top 200. You can see my UPX is high. It's at 912,000. After the Las Vegas release, it was down to 650 from buying properties in Las Vegas, and I've been buying properties in some other areas as well. So we'll talk about that. But first, well, second, I already did first. The lazy nodes, how are we doing? So we have a couple of lazy nodes where we just got together, decided to buy properties in certain areas, build on them. We have contests. We have a Discord, so you're welcome to join our Discord. We have lots of good discussions on there, and buy and sell and trade channel. Lots of deals get done on there, so it's pretty fun. So Neponsit is one of them, and you can see I own lots of properties there. And unlike a lot of nodes, I did not pick the one where I had the most properties. I picked this node, published my video before I had one property in Neponsit myself, and then I went through and have bought quite a few. I bought another one last night that popped up that was a pretty decent deal, and our floor has been doing great. It did drop a tiny bit overnight, but not bad, so that's good to see. Now our latest contest winner is this apartment complex right here, Ocho 1937. So we do have a lot of people donating Spark again. Thank you so much for doing that. And basically our contest work is you enter by commenting on one of my videos. We do a drawing. We pick one person where we all kind of dedicate our Spark to help them with the build. And this is the first apartment we're doing. And it's down to 17 days, so that's cool. So yes, this is taking longer than the townhome or ranch we did, but it's down to 17 days. That's good to see. And I know Ocho has got over 4 Spark dedicated himself to his own building. And we've got some other people dedicating over 4 Spark. So cool to see. I've got 1 Spark dedicated to it. So maybe I'll send some more. We'll see. I'll think about that. But that Neponsit is doing great. And then checking prices, we're at upxland.me just to see where the floor is. 2 properties at 40. I saw those pop up. So some people might be trying to liquidate for money for Las Vegas. I actually picked one up for 39 yesterday, And that was listed a little higher. I just made an offer and they accepted it. So always remember, you can make offers on a lot of these and see if they'll take less. And if they're trying to liquidate for Las Vegas, there's a lot better chance now that they'll take offers than at other times when there isn't a city release coming up. All right, so let's take a look at Henry Ford. That's my other node in Detroit. And we've been seeing some people do trades in here. I've got 38 properties in here. I did have one property, maybe two in this one when I started, but again, I didn't try and pick ones just to make all my own properties go up in value. All right, you can see we've built quite a bit here. Have lots of properties going up, so cool to see. Some ornaments. And let's see what the floor is on Henry Ford. It's been right around, oh, not Las Vegas. I'm used to Detroit being the last one on here. Now it's Vegas. It's been at 20, but that's one property you can't build on. And after that one's been done, it's been about 22 to 25. So, yep, there's that one still at 20, 22 to 25, holding steady right there. Again, if people are looking to get into these nodes, either Neponset or Las Vegas, I am open to trades or even selling some of my properties. I'm not looking to sell many of them. I'm still trying to add them, and I do keep adding more. But interesting trades are considered, especially now that we're doing the Thrifty Trader Challenge. I'm trying to sell a few more properties and try and get in that top 200 for a Block Explorer. I don't really do anything with my Block Explorers, but it's fun to have an attempt at winning, or not winning, but doing okay at a contest. All right. So there are the updates there. And then, let's see. And I talk a lot more in the Thrifty Trader Challenge and how I sell properties in my video from yesterday. So be sure to check that out if you haven't seen that one yet. Now let's get to Las Vegas. What is happening here? So here's the Winchester that was a stress test. I minted, I think, 5 properties. I've sold almost all of them that I minted. And I bought a few more on the secondary market. And I bought some more down here. And big price discrepancies on this side of the neighborhood. You know, you can buy stuff for less than $20,000. That's a big one. So you can still get stuff there. And then over here, uh-oh, where's my mouse? There it goes. Sometimes I have to bang my mouse to make it work. If we go on this side, you see prices 28, 29. Stuff is much higher, so it's interesting. There are a lot bigger properties over there. And then the golf course I really kind of like. So we can see, I think this one's not quite on the golf course. Yeah, there's another property between it right here. So I don't quite count that one as on the golf course. But these were in the low 20s for a while, and they've been jumping up. I did sell one on here, and I've got a few more that I've been purchasing, as you can see. So as far as new nodes go for Las Vegas, a few people have asked me about that, and there's just not a good mix of neighborhoods yet. It's so small, and they're supposed to be adding more neighborhoods if the demand is high enough here. So it's tricky. So I don't always go into a release thinking about where I'll have a node. I just kind of let the release happen and then go from there. But I'm kind of thinking the golf course might be a cool node. So let me know what people think. It's not crazy expensive yet. There's limited supply of properties on it. The big issue would be, obviously, there's no way to just search for golf course properties. So if we do a node in here, it might be a little tricky. You can't just type in golf course, neighborhood country club and get properties in there. You'd have to kind of use this function of searching by limiting where you can see. So let me know what you think in the comments. That might be one idea, but we could always just wait and see what else opens up to go from there. Okay, now getting to collections, my strategy for Las Vegas. I do not base all of my minting on collections, what I think will be a collection. I've talked about this before a lot. So in the first couple releases I went through, I was trying to guess what collections were. I almost think of it as gambling, trying to guess what Upland's going to do. You buy properties there. In the Bronx, I bought properties in like every single neighborhood, trying to, you get better chances of getting collections, and I hit some. But I spent so much money buying properties in other neighborhoods, it wasn't a good strategy, because as soon as they're not announced as a collection, they just drop in value significantly, especially ones that are being hyped up as possibly being a collection and they aren't. So what my strategy has always been is to try and figure out what other people think will be collections, see what the popular areas are, and then I go for those and then sell them before the collections are announced. And so that has worked out very well for me on the last few releases. My biggest issue has been in South Los Angeles. I went for neighborhoods, and the prices were so expensive, and the neighborhoods were so big that they weren't even minted out. So I had a bunch in Venice and some areas I thought would be really cool. And I even hit those collections. I just couldn't sell them. So North Los Angeles, I focused more on streets, and that did much, much better. So here, I've been doing some research, watching some other videos, Upland analysis. You can go on Discord and see what people think there. There's all kinds of different things you can do to see where you think the collections will be. And so something else to look at is value maps. So here's a map that just shows the highest values in Las Vegas. And in some of the other cities, it's a little easier to see where spots are. Vegas is just all over the place, just kind of crazy. And then the other issue with Vegas we see is that the neighborhoods are huge for the most part, right? So you have all types of very valuable areas, but then it's just one tiny area of this giant neighborhood. So that could be tricky. Now, that doesn't mean we can't still make predictions, and other people aren't. So the first things you realize are you always look for the small neighborhoods, and there's two that stick out like a sore thumb in Las Vegas: University District, and a lot of times those have been collections, and we can't see where the properties are yet, right? They don't have the grid out yet, but look at all these named, buildings here. The thing is, you don't know how many of them will be for sale. There could be a lot of them that aren't actually turned into lots and sold, but there's probably going to be very few properties in here based on the lack of streets and that most of this is a university. So that could be a collection, and it could be a very easy place to sell properties before the collection. And the other obvious one is the Arts District right here, which is tiny. You can see very small, tons of named buildings. That's always a good sign, is if you have named properties. People love to buy named properties, especially museums, and I'm sure casinos, theaters will be huge in Las Vegas. So in the Cornish Pastry Company, who knows, that might be amazing too. Some people like churches, some people like banks, some people like gas stations. You just never know. But named properties are usually better than not named. And you have a lot of them here in a very small area. So that will be a target for a lot of people. And that's kind of another part of your strategy too, is to figure out, right, if you're going for the Arts District, you're probably going to be competing with a lot of people. So you've got to be on your game extremely fast and realize you might just get one or two properties, maybe a few more, but you could not get any at the beginning if you're going for the really, really, really popular areas. That's what happened to me in Queens, although I made some mistakes not refreshing my page or scrolling in and out on Queens too. Still did okay there. The other area, downtown, every city downtown is popular. It may or may not be a collection, but it always seems to sell for a lot before the collections are announced. And this downtown, you can see, is pretty big too, right? It's a pretty big size one. Downtown East is actually smaller. So it's really all speculation here on what can happen. Downtowns are usually, popular. If it has downtown in the name, it might be, popular too. And we'll see how that goes. I'll talk about streets here in a second, but then other neighborhoods, some people have mentioned Twin Lakes. It's just hard to know. A lot of people have said anywhere with water is good because Las Vegas is in a desert. So if you can target areas that have water, or especially properties that are on waterfront, that sure looks like a golf course, right? Then that could be, a popular area. We have lots of water on that golf course, which is cool. There's some greenery here, a little bit of water there, but you can just see there's not much going on unless you zoom way out and go over to, Lake Mead, right? Is that Lake Mead? I think so. That's just off the top of my head. I'm not a Vegas expert. I could be totally wrong. So there are some of the neighborhoods. Again, Sunrise could be. Who knows? You just don't know. That's why I don't like speculating too much. And then we also don't know. There's supposed to be like 20-some collections. Are they going to release all those collections now, or are they going to wait until they expand Vegas? That's a question I don't know either. So it could be that there are only, 10 collections announced, and they wait to announce the other ones later. I'm not sure how that's going to work. So that's why I want to focus on if it were me and I wanted high dollar properties, I'd focus on the very small neighborhoods or certain streets. And so one street that already has shown some promise is Sahara, and I had one property on there before, but I actually just traded it this morning. Someone offered me a pretty decent trade, and just any of the main roads probably won't be exclusive or rare, but could be Flamingo, Tropicana. I don't know, Sunset. Yeah, Sunset's in one a little bit there. They could be collections. Just main roads in general have a better chance. And then, if you are targeting some of those main roads too, you can kind of hedge your bet a little bit. Like if you're going for Tropicana, maybe you're trying to mint this 7-Eleven and Circle K and Denny's named properties on there, gas stations, which can help you out. Again, there'll be competition, but that might be less competition down here than there is, in the Arts District or along other streets, which will for sure have tons of competition. And the property I sold here was an interesting one. Let's see if I can find it, if I scroll in far enough. Oh, there it is right there. So I didn't sell, like I said, I bought it for $35,000. It was very cheap. And then I'll show you. You can always search for a street by just going to upxland.me, putting the town, search for an address. You just put in, the street or part of the street, and it'll show you all the properties for sale on that street. And so you can see the floor is 58. I bought mine for 35, which I thought was a smoking good deal. And these even are still, way below the floor, but who knows what will happen after the full release here. And so I had it up for sale for 49 in there, and someone offered me a trade for, let's go show you right now. Oh, property sold, yay. Oh yeah. No, that's not it. That's the one in the ponds that I just bought, sorry. Here's my trade, Sahara, for this property in Queens, which is in Douglaston, right? Yeah, the Douglaston collection. And then it's huge, 128. So it's a big property. They bought it for $66,000. I put it up for 69. That might be a little high, but I think it's worth 60 all day long. And so I bought mine for 35. I think that's a pretty good deal. And if it doesn't sell right away, it's still in the collection. It's a big property, so it should have some value later on. Again, if Sahara comes out and it's not a collection, that property is worth probably almost, very little, a little bit more than mint. But trading, selling before the collection comes out, I have guaranteed profit and money instead of speculation. So, some other roads that people have talked about besides kind of these main, crossroads I've been showing you, Charleston. I mean, I haven't heard too many people say those roads, but just knowing that they're major roads, they have named properties on them. That one doesn't have as many named properties, so that one might not be quite as popular. Those have a chance. Now, the main ones that people are talking about, and you're going to make money on, obviously Las Vegas Boulevard is a strip. 97% chance that's going to be some kind of collection. And there's named properties all over it. So, you can try and get properties on the Las Vegas Strip and downtown, in the Arts District, and really, hedge your bets about getting some kind of collection. But there's going to be so many other people trying to do that as well, too. And the other thing you're going to find with the Las Vegas Boulevard, we can't see it yet, but I'm guessing most of these properties are going to be very big and probably pretty expensive. So if you can get a gas station on the Strip, a hotel, a casino, I mean, you're going to make some money, right? You're almost guaranteed to be able to flip it for a lot of money before the collection's are announced, or probably afterwards, unless there's some craziness going on and it's not a collection. But you'll probably be spending some money to do it. No brainer there, right? Anything you get on the Las Vegas Boulevard, the Strip, and it runs, all the way up here. So if you want to try and get some, that are not quite as popular, that could be a strategy too, running all the way down. I don't think I think we're outside we're outside the area there, but all the way down here. But again, they're probably going to be big properties. So Las Vegas Strip obviously is a popular one. Another popular one is, let's see if I can find them all here. Where am I at? Let me zoom out a little bit. Yeah, I'm in downtown. Oh, Fremont. I want to call it Fremont, but there's only one E. that is one of the most famous streets in Las Vegas. You type in famous streets in Las Vegas, that pops up over and over and over again. Everybody's talking about Fremont Street, and there's tons of named properties on it. And then it runs through downtown, keeps going down through East Downtown, comes along south, and then it stops right here at Sahara. So, decent sized street, but not huge. So that also gives it a good chance to be, a rare collection because there's not as many, it doesn't go as long as the Strip forever. So it's rare you see those really, really long streets become ultra rare collections. So that's a great one to target, but again, other people be targeting it too. And then Main Street is also a very popular street, and you can kind of see where it runs up here. I think it stops right there, right? Yes, it stops right there, and then it runs here to the south and kind of veers off there to South Main Street. I always get slightly, like, you buy on Main Street, but then there's a South Main Street and a regular Main Street, a North Main Street. Upland's been pretty good, where if it's Main Street, right, it's on a collection. But one of these days I want to be like, oh, just North Main Street is a collection, or just South Street. Like we had that one fiasco in Berkeley where Telegraph was a collection in Oakland. And even though Berkeley is now considered part of Oakland, Telegraph is not a collection in Berkeley. So I made a lot of money on Telegraph selling before the collections were announced, but then I lost a little bit because I had some properties that just, I assumed it had to be a collection in Berkeley as well, but it wasn't. So Upland pretty much tried to trick everybody in Berkeley. I think that was their goal, was to pull the rug out and say, these are the collections there should be. We're not going to do any of those. We're going to do the complete opposite of what should be a collection. But I think they learned after that. So, okay. So we've got Fremont, Las Vegas Strip, Main Street. You've got these other cross streets that, could or couldn't be. You just don't know. Sometimes they like to throw in some different streets there. Let me see if Paradise has been thought of as possibly one. We can see Paradise was in the stress release, and it's very expensive. But there's a but there. $199,000 is the floor. But look how big these are. And the mint prices are very expensive. So there's definitely big markups right now in Paradise. But very few properties in Winchester on this street. And most of them are very, very, very big. So could Paradise be a collection? And I always... There's Paradise. It could be. But you're really... put a lot of money into that prediction if it's wrong. So there's a gas station, lots of named properties here. So again, you could, my strategy would be to sell stuff if you do mint Paradise before the collection if you can. And it goes for, I think it stops there. Yeah, it's not a long road either. So some people have speculated it could be a collection because it's a short road. Oh, whoa. Wrong stuff there. That's my real estate stuff. Keeps going down. So that could be one as well. You just don't know. So it'll be interesting to see once the full release comes along what the floor on Paradise does. Because it does go quite a bit longer. It just keeps going down here than I thought. So it's not that short of a road, actually. I thought it stopped sooner than that. So there's quite a few, properties on there. Flamingo Road, again, we just don't know, right? Who knows what the streets will be. We know for sure that people will be predicting Las Vegas, Main Street, Fremont, for sure. Some of the other ones, Sahara, Paradise, maybe, but you'll probably still be able to sell properties on there for a markup before the collections are announced, and that's usually my strategy. So my strategy will be to target some of those streets if I can, possibly some of the, other neighborhoods we'll see, and try and get named properties if I can, and then sell them beforehand. Now, usually what happens when these releases happen is I go for those big dollar, big profit properties, and then everything gets minted really, really fast, and those are gone. Then I try and figure out, okay, where's a secondary market to go to and mint to? And what's been working well for me lately is trying to find... I love golf courses. Golf courses have worked out great for me. But also just smaller, more affordable areas. And we won't be able to really see the size of the lots until, right the night before or the morning of the release, and then I kind of like just scroll around and kind of see where some of the smaller areas are, where some of the areas are. Oh, that's not included in there, with water and different things, and then just try and mint a whole lot of properties that are cheaper. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how the strategy works. Again, the release is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time or 11, one of the two. Don't take my word for it. Make sure you check Upland, and make sure you account for your time change and your time zone differences as well for when that is happening. All right, there's my strategy. There's what's going on with me. Let me know what you think, what you're doing, what you think might be collections. List them below. That can always help people out. I might have missed some, and we'll see how it all goes. I'll definitely be recording it tomorrow, and have that released so you can see how I did. I know people like those videos, and I think they're fun to do as well. And yeah, looking forward to it. Love the likes, love the shares, love the comments. Keep those coming. We'll be back tomorrow to see how everything goes.